Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. I'm Michael Sandler, your host of Inspire Nation. I've got Jessica Lee, who's running the chat room right next to me. It has been such an exciting time of change for us. Want to share this with you tonight, but you may not realize summer is the perfect time for all of us to change. It's a time we can find more freedom, more happiness, less stress, and greater health and energy to carry forward through the year. Summer's actually the most important time. It's the best time to make great change. Why in the summertime? Michael, why would I want to make great change in the summertime? It's time to play. It's time to laugh. It's not the time to be serious. You're right. But it's also the time where we have more energy than any other time of the year. Why is that? The sun's not sleeping. The birds aren't sleeping. So neither are we. So in this time of positivity, we can surf this wave of energy. And I'm going to show you how to do that tonight. I must say, I have a lot of energy as we are making great change, something I'm going to tell you about in just a minute. Before that, a couple quick housekeeping notes. First off, if you love the show, come support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Inspire Nation. We're 100% supported by you, our audience. Second, we have our iMeditations program coming up shortly. You can come on over to InspireNationShow.com. We're going to be giving away free meditations if you come join us over there. And thirdly, we do have some spots for summer coaching open. So if you want a free strategy session to see if a mentorship program with me is right for you, come on over to InspireNationShow.com/coaching for a free strategy session specifically to see if a mentorship program with me is right for you. With that said, let's talk about transforming our lives by transforming our summers. So I'm going to ask Jessica, but I'm not asking her to answer because if I do, that's a big, big no-no. Jessica, are we in the midst of great change this summer? Yes, we are. What does that mean? Well, it means everything's on the table. What do you mean by that? We're looking at hiring, we're looking at organizing, and we're beginning to question everything. Does that mean we might put me out of a job? Yes, it's entirely possible. We're going to be able to take you out of some of the work. Whoa!
I think you need puppets.
I think puppets would be a great idea. Can we get a Sir Meowser's puppet?
Do you want a sock?
A sock with a smiley face on it?
Yeah.
Well, we have the headgear. That might work. That I just wore for the photo with a smiley face on it? We could turn that in. So what in the world are we talking about? What we're talking about is summertime when things start to slow down. We can step back. We can begin to look at every aspect of our lives and start to challenge our paradigms. What's a paradigm? It's a rule that says that I have to work hard. I have to work long hours. I have to be single. I have to be married. I have to be whatever. Our paradigms are these rule sets that we carry forward with us unchallenged through our lives. Well, I want to challenge you to challenge your paradigms, to take inventory of each aspect of your life. Make a list of what's working. Oh, this is just wrong. Hi, everybody. I'm the new Inspire Nation mascot. You can't do this to me. So maybe our format is going to change from having an Ask Michael Anything to having a puppet show. How's that for challenging our paradigms?
Who knows?
We want to take inventory of each aspect of your life. So if you're listening to this tonight or whenever you're listening to it, I want you to make a few lists. You can make a couple columns even if you want. Make a list of what's been working for you. Make a list of what's not been working. And then make a list, if you can, of all of your assumptions. So here are a few of our assumptions. We need a 5-day-a-week show on iTunes. We need to work our tails off for success. Jessica needs to work on this program at all. We need to have a YouTube live per week. Don't worry, it's not going anywhere. We need to have our Wednesday afternoons off. We need to work on the weekends. YouTube is the answer to everything. iTunes is the answer to everything. These are just a few of our assumptions. Other assumptions that Michael has, he needs a green screen behind him when he does interviews. Jessica's going, oh God, no. All of these things, everything in our lives, when we wake, when we sleep, what we eat, how our energy levels are, how our minds spin or race, whether we're good at meditation, bad at meditation, good knees, bad knees, all of these are assumptions. And they are all on the table or all on the chopping block in the summertime. So take inventory of everything in your life, and then sit with that assumption. So what are the big assumptions? Because I've wanted the #1 show on iTunes for years, and we've gotten very close. We've gotten #2 in self-help. If we combine self-help and spirituality, we really are the top self-help spirituality show in the world. But do we really need to be a 5-day-a-week show to do that? Or can we cut back, look at doing things a different way, and give you even more valuable content by me having a chance to breathe? So we get to step back and look at our assumptions. So what I'm telling you about the 5-day-a-week for a reason. The reason is I can go on hikes and kind of put that into my heart, put that into my psyche and say, am I supposed to be a 5-day-a-week show? And see what I hear and see what I think. I can also just do the basic litmus test of, does this feel light? Does this feel heavy? So you can do this with all of your assumptions. You can walk with it. You can ponder it. You can let it bounce around. You can see what comes of it. You can even put it in your heart right before you sleep and ask for guidance. You can say, universe, God, source, whomever, whatever you believe in, can you help me to wake up with more clarity on what we get to be? Now, for myself, I go to automatic writing. I can't recommend it enough. And I'm happy to shamelessly plug it because it's been the most powerful tool in changing our lives. It's automaticwriting.com is where you can get that. It's a third-person process of going into meditation, going into a meditative state, and a kind of half here, half not here state, writing questions to the universe, kind of like Conversations with God, which we had Neil Donald Walsh on this past week. Oh my God, was he amazing. And you're going and asking universe, source, guide, angels, am I supposed to have a 5-day-a-week show? Am I supposed to be working this hard? Am I supposed to be changing jobs? Am I supposed to be moving states? Am I supposed to be staying with this partner or not? You can ask any of your top level questions and get guidance. For ourselves, I'm hearing change format, cut back, do things a completely different way. And that's what we're looking at. We're changing or not changing, we're challenging each aspect of our lives. Now you may say, why do I do this in the summertime, Michael? Summertime is when I want to kick back. I want to relax. Perfect. The summer is not when you have to build everything and put things in place. It's when you get that big picture, holistic viewpoint of your life. You really become a third-person observer of your life. Or to put it another way, 2004, I did a 5,000-mile, 40-day solo, unsupported bike ride across the country. I was nuts. For people with learning disabilities and attention deficit disorder. I'm riding across the salt flats. I'm chasing, I think, or being chased by a thunderstorm, and I'm having to go just top speed because if you're out there and a storm comes through, the wind is strong enough on the salt flats, it'll knock 18-wheelers over. I get to where it's a safer zone. I'm almost to the end of the salt flats. I call into the local Utah radio stations or TV stations and say, would you like to do an interview? I'll be in a few hours. Or actually, I said, we'll be in a few hours. And I remember a reporter saying to me, I thought you said you're doing a solo bike ride and you said, we'll be in. I said, yeah, you caught me. It's me on the bicycle and it's the observer of me who's cheering me on. This summer, you get to put yourself in the role of the observer, the third person watching you, cheering you on and going, hey, Michael, hey, Jessica, do you think you might try X, Y, or Z? No, I don't want to try that. Well, might work for you. Key point. You know you're actually on track when you fight against a decision. So Jessica may or may not know this. She knows me so incredibly well, over 10 years together now. But if she asked me about something particularly having to do with change, my initial response is my default mode is always, and it's the wiring I grew up with, no, oh my God, I can't possibly do that. But you give me 30 seconds and I'm like, maybe. You give me another 30 seconds and I'm like, wow, that's interesting. You give me 5 or 10 minutes and I'll usually be going, Pookie, you're right. That's a great idea. Let's try it. For all of us, our nervous system is wired to protect us from danger. So it's a very rare person who is continuously saying, let's try it. Let's do it. I actually want to be more like that, more like a yes man. However, initially I go to, I don't know about that. And then I double back around, and that's okay. But when you go, I don't know it, chances are that's actually right on track. When you get that emotional reaction, that emotional charge, there is probably something good in there for you. So after you step back, after you start to take inventory in your lives, you may start to get an idea of where you want to go, how you can switch your life, or as the title is, how you can upgrade this life through the summer. Then ask yourself, what simple steps can I take forward this summer? Not what big, grandiose steps. You don't have to work your tail off this summer to make great change. Although I want to say about practicing what we preach, we are actually doing some really big things this summer. Why? We want to get Jessica pregnant again this fall, and we don't want her having to work during that time. So we get to put the pieces in place now. But realize you don't have to take big steps. You don't have to take Mount Everest-sized steps. You can take tiny little baby steps this summer, and it will help get you there. It's really all about what I call all hail King Mo. All hail King Momentum. If you take tiny little steps, but you put things in motion, tiny little step becomes a bigger step, becomes a bigger step, and it takes on a life of its own. Want a new job? Start looking, start asking, or sign up for a class. You wouldn't believe what changes start to occur. Want a new partner? Sign up for a meetup, a club, attend just one event, and see what is set in motion. Once you have an idea, this gets back to the law of attraction, something we talk about all the time. You get to set an intention of where you'd like to be at the end of the summer, end of the fall, or end of the winter. So I have a dollar amount that I've been talking about for residual income I'm trying to build for the end of the fall. I'm also saying I want to be able to put myself out of a job by the end of the year. What do you mean by that, Michael? I love coaching. By the end of the year, I'd like to get to where I choose to coach rather than I need to coach. Rather than that being the main source of income, how much content can I give away, and how much content generated income can I drive, so that I'm no longer driving or sharing, no longer trading, that's the word I was looking for, dollars for hours. I have set that intention now. I can see it so clearly, and I play with it. I sculpt it. I mold it. That's what I want you to do. Each night when you go to bed, hold that intention close to your heart and play with it. Like the idea of, play with the idea as if it's chewing gum. Play with it before you go to bed. Gnaw on it, chew on it, stay with it, and see what comes. In fact, if your number one idea, your number one thought is to upgrade your life, you will find a way. So if you say to yourself, I want this more than anything else, and you keep thinking about it and thinking about it, you will find a way to make it happen. What does this mean? Well, it means if you're dwelling on something negative, something took place at work, something that took place at home, something that took place out on the trails, and you notice that that is pulling your thoughts away from where you want to be, then make it your everything to pull your mind back on track. We've had a lot of really interesting stuff go down this week that we'll be telling you about in the next few weeks. And it has a huge potential for pulling our minds off track. What I've done is actually linked to it. Each time I start to dwell on this, quote, negative thought, I say, how does that help us bring in more income? How does that help us change our business? How does that help us with YouTube? That's what's most important now. How do I reach more people? How do I grow our income? How do I grow our YouTube channel so we can reach more subscribers like you? And so each time I catch myself dwelling, I flip it and I bring it back. And that is a challenge for you as well. Catch those dwellings, those negative thoughts that are pulling you down, that drain your energy, and see how you can flip them around. On top of that, if you will do this work this summer, here's what I have with my coaching clients. Let's take it a different way. With my coaching clients, I have found, for like 2 decades now, people are most stressed out on Mondays, not because they have to go to work Monday, but because they don't feel like they got anything done over the weekend. Oh, Michael, I just had this one thing to do and I didn't get to it. Michael, I needed to take care of paying this bill and doing this other thing and I didn't do it. The same thing can happen to us through our summer. If we don't focus on those 1 or 2 things, then we hit the fall and our ego kicks up and says, you missed a great opportunity to make a difference in your life. You don't want that. So that we don't have that fear, anxiety, that kicking ourselves this winter, we set intention, we step forward, stepping forward into great change. You don't want to be stressed out this fall. You don't want to be overworked. And if you're going from paycheck to paycheck, you certainly don't want to do that. And you don't have to. This summer doesn't have to be about pounding the pavement, but it can be about asking the big picture questions of how do I step back from this? Put yourself in the role of the observer. Become the we. Become the you on the bicycle and the you that's cheering you on this summer. And as you cheer yourself on, say, does this have to be that way? Does this other thing have to be this way? What changes can I make? For ourselves, for instance, one of the most exciting things we're doing is we have a long format show here. Listen to a long format live event right now, about 40, 45 minutes, and our shows are about an hour. Well, we're going to be starting within the next week. We've already got the editor on board. We're putting a whole team on board so that we're going to have short 10-minute for you videos as well. Because it is the rare bird, and if it's you, I applaud you. I am one as well, who will listen to hour-long shows. So we want to make it easier for you to consume. That is just one of the many ways we're challenging ourselves to do things differently. Become the we, become the observer, step back and say, what do I want to do this summer? How do I want to change my game so that this fall I am truly upgrading my life? Send all my love your way. We're going to dive into questions now. Last, few coaching slots open, inspirenationshow.com/coaching. If you want a free one-on-one strategy session with me, specifically to talk about mentorship, basically coaching with me. And if you want to support the show, and we love you, we would love your support. And I'm asking for your assistance because that's what keeps the show going. Come on over to patreon.com, patreon.com/InspireNation. Become a Backstage Pass member. And thank you so much for supporting the show. With that said, going to open it up to a little bit of questions here. Jessica, how are we doing?
My question is, what if you feel like life is good, you're just coasting, that maybe you don't need any change, or changing things up might disrupt the nice coast?
Oh, that is such a loaded question, Pookie. That's a brilliant question. So there's nothing wrong with coasting. There's nothing wrong with coasting for as long as you would like. But if you have any ounce of a niggling in you that you would like to change or upgrade or tinker with, try to get the channel dialed in just a little bit better, then go for it. I don't think there's anything wrong with kicking back. There's a season for everything. So if your season of rest is the summer and you're like, I don't want to do anything about anything, then that's okay. But my recommendation is to recover and then step back and say, how do I want this fall to be? How do I want this next segment of my life to be? And see what I can do. I think we all have a natural desire when we are well rested to create, to grow, to learn, to expand, sort of like we are all part of consciousness wanting to expand. But we have to rest and recover first. If we come into the summer exhausted and I say, I want to coast, then what I'd say is coast for a while. And then you get to ask yourself, why was I so exhausted this spring? And what can I do about it?
Thank you.
You are most welcome. And I just caught on here that Beth Grossman, one of our all-time dearest, most loved friends in the whole wide world, has just made a comment on here. So I don't know that she's the next question, but I want to send Beth. Beth, we love you so much. All right, who has the next question?
Her question's second.
Second,
Crypto
okay.
Mike writes, I need words of wisdom regarding putting too much focus on the wrong things and getting out of balance in my spiritual life, mental life.
Okay, Crypto Mike. First off, please forgive me for saying this. I don't mean this tongue in cheek. While they may be painful things and there may be an easier direction to go, there are no wrong things. I'll put that in quotes. There are all learnings. As Marlon Brando says, though, there is the easy way and there is the hard way. To put your life back in balance, I would step back from your life. It's a big part of what we're talking about tonight. Getting yourself into the observer role. There's a reason that I push automatic writing with people. And actually, we get to do a new product launch coming up so that we can really get it out to everybody again. It is the tool that helped us get back on track when we were stuck in the doingness, in the go. And we didn't even know that we didn't know where we were going. We actually took ourselves basically to the brink of bankruptcy and way to the end of Jessica's health, exhausting her through, I'll put it in quotes, the wrong decisions, because we didn't have a means to step back, Mike. And so each morning we now do automatic writing, this meditative process of asking, am I on track? What do I need to know? Am I going in the right direction? Is there anything that I get to learn from this so that I'm not alone? We're not alone. We're getting that third person observer, the infinite observer, almost as if you've got like a spirit or a spy cam up in the top there, Crypto Mike, a spy cam up in the top corner of your room, looking down on you that then gives you advice on what you can do for your life. Can't recommend it enough that each day you participate in a process of stepping back from your life so you can ask those big picture questions and then backing off of the gas. Mike, I call it going slow to go fast. I have a mascot in the other room that's a tortoise. Just for this reason, I show it to all of my coaching clients. The slower, and I don't usually talk this fast, is to try to get it all out into YouTube Live. The slower you can go, the more the answers have an opportunity to chase you down. Beautiful question, Mike. Thanks so much for asking.
Beth writes, how do we live in flow and synchronicity for the most part?
Beth, I know you're living in synchronicity. I know it. I
think Beth could teach all of us.
I think so too. I really do. That's a brilliant question. How do we live in synchronicity and the natural flow? Look for ease. Look for light. Look for what feels good or feels like love. Ease is not forcing. Ease is not being like Sisyphus and pushing a rock uphill. Jessica and I, particularly me, am working my tail off this summer. In fact, to be honest, I feel completely maxed out because we had so much go on this weekend that I feel a step or two, quote, behind where I'd like to be. And yet, at the same time, we had a baby bear come to visit yesterday. Maybe we can grab the camera at some point and we'll show people. It's on the table behind us. We'll show people the baby bear. We've had all of these amazing synchronicities take place because I haven't tried to force things. Meditate. Get out into nature. Ask yourself, are these decisions I'm making out of love or out of fear? In fact, one of my all-time favorite questions to ask is, what would love do? And then check in with your energy. So for the last few weeks, as things have ramped up, I'm going, I want to go to bed earlier. And I'm going, well, you're making a choice to stay up a little bit later right now. But at the end of the evening, when I feel myself really charged up and I really want to get going and I've got to get to bed and I will take at least 5 or 10 minutes to either meditate, calm my energies, or I'll get on a foam roll and I'll roll out and I'll stretch for 10 minutes. And then I'm taking additional breaks through the day to go to the breath. When you simply go to the breath, You help put yourself back in the natural flow. Lastly, and this is the perfect time of the year for this, the more time that you put out in nature, the more time that you step back from your electronics, you step back from your work, and you touch base or check in with the natural world. That can be just your squirrels and bird feeders in your backyard. If you're in the city, that can be getting to the water, that can be getting out to the trails. But the more that you get back in touch with the natural flow and with the natural world, the more the synchronicities can chase you down. In fact, I have a dear, dear friend, CJ Liu. You've heard her on the show. Actually, Beth, you're dear friends with CJ as well, who's doing the Camino de Santiago this fall, 500-mile walk pilgrimage across Spain. During that time, the amount of synchronicities that are going to occur for her will be dumbfounding. I call it road magic. When you put yourself out there, when you don't need to be anywhere, when you can just be with the trail, be with nature, be with the footsteps or your footfalls, the synchronicities, the coincidences, the magic, that's why I call it road magic, can't help but catch up with you. What a beautiful, beautiful question, Beth. And I know you are living in love and living in flow. Oh, my love, Beth.
Our next question is from Razi, who writes, where does self-sabotage come from? Is it karma or from the subconscious?
Oh, that's a beautiful question, Razi. I'm not a big fan of karma as something that smites us. I believe karma comes into play to teach us lessons. Could be from past life, could be from this life. We have a running joke with Jessica that I have instant karma. If I have a bad thought, I trip, I fall, I break a toe, something happens, I stub my toes. But generally speaking, I don't think karma is here to smite us. I think, Razi, and can we go back to that question for 1 second here? Okay, self-sabotage. I think karma is here to guide us and teach us lessons. Self-sabotage, yes, it comes from the subconscious, but it's not actually self-sabotage. That's the crazy thing. Self-sabotage is not self-sabotage. That's right, you heard it here first. Self-sabotage is not self-sabotage. It's a protective mechanism. It's here to protect you, to keep you safe. Yes, that usually means to keep you small, to keep you in a protective bubble, to keep you following the rule sets that you created in the past, now in your subconscious, to keep you safe. Your parents put into your subconscious to keep you safe, or the tribe put into your subconscious to keep you safe. I do a lot of my own version of emotion code work with people to help peel away the layers of emotional wounds and blocks and walls that are causing them to repeatedly sabotage themselves in an effort to protect yourself. So when you find yourself in a pattern, it's good, go to automatic writing, go to like morning pages or a third-person journaling operation, and ask yourself, ask the universe, why am I sabotaging myself? How is this here to serve me? How can I let go of this and move past this? What do I have to learn from the sabotage? You see, everything is your teacher. Jessica loves to say that. And everything is here to serve you, even or especially your self-sabotage. It's really trying to keep you safe. So the biggest question you get to ask is, what can I learn from this? Or why is it here to keep me safe? Then you can do a process like EFT tapping. You can do emotion code work. You can do journaling. You can do mantras. You can do affirmations. The list goes on and all the possibilities of how to leap past that subconscious block once you've identified how it's here to serve you. Brilliant, brilliant question, Razi.
I forgot to mention that Crypto Mike made a donation.
Woohoo! Thank you so much, Crypto Mike. You're keeping the show going. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? All right, we've got time for just a few more questions here.
Okay. This is a little bit of a story, but it's a question from Amy who
All
writes,
right.
what if you are in a living space that you dislike and moved 2 months ago? Feel regret and want to move with nothing lined up. I want to give a 2-month notice without a backup, decisions and uncertainty. The second part of the question, I made the decision to move as I needed space to move from an ex. I went against what was bad for me. sorry, I went against what was best for me. Now I feel stuck in my situation as moving is a stressor.
Okay, and her name is again?
Amy.
Amy, first off, you did the right thing. I want to applaud you. You got out of a situation that wasn't working for you. How does it get any better than this? That is awesome. We often need to get ourselves in an uncomfortable position so that we can pivot and get light and move. I call it coming unmoored. Basically, you put yourself in a boat on the water and you cut the cords and you're now drifting free. You needed this. So I don't want you picking on yourself, not for 1 minute. This was exceptionally important and right in line with where you needed to go. Now from here, giving to notice without having a place to go to, that seems to be our specialty, doesn't it, Pookie? Time after time, we have done this where we're moving and we don't know where we're going to go. It's not that we're playing cosmic chicken with the universe saying who's going to give first, but 2 months is a large period of time to find out where you need to go next. And often it is just a stepping stone on your path. Your job right now is to love yourself up like there's no tomorrow, without judgment, as if you're your own baby in your arms. It's going to be all right. I'm going to take care of you. In fact, I would do a meditation. Go for a walk and sit down with your inner child. Let her know everything's going to be all right. Let her know you've got her back. And ask her in this meditative state where you're focusing on your breath, ask her, what do you want to tell me? What are your fears? What are your concerns? And then reassure her that you're going to take care of her. And now step forward, protecting her each step of the way. What does it mean to protect your inner child? Without judgment, without belittling, watching your inner language, and then being kind and gentle, even when you slip up. Love yourself up and love your inner child like there's no tomorrow. That's what you're going to need over this next period, this next 2 months, is to raise your vibration up and up and up to where, of course, that place is going to show up. And then challenge yourself. Was it Amy? I believe it's Amy. Mm-hmm. Amy, challenge yourself. Scare yourself to go where you dare not go before. Sounds a little like Star Trek, I guess for a good reason. I want you to say, where would I go if I had no fear? Where would I go if I had no limitations? And find a way to put yourself there. I'm looking at some newly potted plants. Plant yourself where you want to be, no matter how meager the existence when you first get there, and then grow from there. If that is your burning desire, if that is your one thing, your one focus is come the end of July, and I'm looking at the clock, and here in Rocky Mountain, it's 5:55, and that for Beth Grossman and ourselves, that's a synchronicity. That means we're right on path. So listen carefully, Amy. If your one thing is in 2 months, by the end of July, I want to be in Florida. I want to be in Vegas. I want to be in Oregon. I want to be in Paris. I want to be in Rio. Whatever it is, there is a way to make it happen. Either to make it happen at the end of July or to put the pieces in place that will help get the gears turning, that will get you there sooner than you possibly could believe. The future is entirely open for you, Amy. Unless I'm listening to you and you are in your 90s, in which case you rock, Amy. But unless that's the case, there is a way to make almost anything happen. If you believe it, you truly can achieve it. So let's get you in that high vibration state now. And when you come down, love yourself up. It's totally okay. This is a roller coaster of ride of life. We're not supposed to stay always up here. In fact, that'd be no fun. But love yourself up. Have sympathy, have kindness, have compassion for yourself, then dust yourself off and charge forward toward your dreams. I want to congratulate you one more time for setting yourself free, Amy. Woohoo! All right, time for a last question or two.
Okay, Crypto Mike asks, thoughts on law of attraction and how best to utilize it to be your best self.
So, Crypto Mike, I'm going to give you the simplest way to use law of attraction. 2 steps. Step number 1, crank your emotions to the max. Focus on what really excites you, interests you, gets you sounding like me right now, kind of over the top excited, whatever that looks like for you. A lot of people don't hold that energy that I have. It doesn't matter. You can be very excited, even if it's just on the inside. But law of attraction is all about the emotion. All. It's not about how you say it. It's not about how you ask for it. It's not even how you give gratitude, though I love giving gratitude for things that I don't have in my life even yet, because they're already here in the future. So gratitude, but it's not about that. It's about the energy and excitement that you bring to it. Part A, that's step number 1. Step number 2, step forward. Because where the secret loses itself is the secret says, you're in the living room, you put your hands on the steering wheel, you picture yourself driving the car. First off, I want you to have the emotions. I want you to believe it's already here. I want you to picture that you're at the what do we call it? Car dealership. They're giving you your car. How will you feel? What does this mean to you? What are your emotions doing? I want the emotions behind it, not just feeling yourself behind the wheel. But they missed step number 2. Step forward. Nothing happens without action. That magical lottery ticket can't come to you unless you're winning, can't come to you if you don't buy a ticket. So step forward. They don't have to be massive steps. They can be tiny little incremental steps. If you've been watching on the news lately, they've been showing traffic jams on Everest. Those people getting to the top of Everest are not taking massive steps. There's a traffic jam. They're taking tiny little steps, and they're still getting to the top of arguably the largest mountain in the world. So you get to step forward. Doesn't need to be perfect steps. Doesn't need to be in the ideal direction. I still love the analogy or the metaphor of airplanes in the past. I don't think it's the case with GPS anymore. But in the past, an airplane would go from one transponder to the next, to the next, to the next to get to its destination. In other words, off track 99% of the time, and yet you'd still land at the airport on time. That's our lives too. We're going to go from one, I'm going to call it, as our dear friend Carol, she has an amazing blog on it, calls it divine breadcrumb. You're going to go from one divine breadcrumb to the next breadcrumb, to the next, and you will get to wherever you want to go if you take those steps forward, if you bring that emotion to it. And this one's out of your control, Crypto Mike. If it's for your highest good and the highest good of all, something that's called your prarabdha karma, meaning if it is your path or journey. If it's not, then no matter how much you try, you won't get there, which is why it is never, ever, ever about the destination. Life has to be about the journey. With that said, I've got time for one last question. Then we get to wrap things up. And thank you again, Crypto Mike, for your kind and generous donation. Woohoo! All right, one last question.
Okay, Razi asked, what do you think of Ho'oponopono?
Razi, I think there is no better prayer or tool in the world for healing people's hearts, for bringing forgiveness to our own hearts, and for changing people's relationship with others and with themselves than Ho'oponopono. It, to me, if somebody's having a relationship difficulty, if somebody's going through a divorce, if somebody's having a problem with a coworker, with a boss, with a lawsuit even, this prayer, this ancient Hawaiian prayer, to me, is the way that shifts everything. And I've seen miracles come out of it. So with Ho'oponopono, 2 key things, and I'm going to go through this with you. It was not a very short last question, but I love it. First off, we are all one. What does that mean? We are both a plural and we are an individual. A plural meaning that I am a unique expression of the divine, whatever we want to call that. I'm a rose on a bush. I'm a wave in the ocean. Jessica's an individual rose on the bush, a wave in the ocean, a part of the whole. So we are an individual and we are the whole. You can't say that rose is not part of the bush. It's a bush. You can't say the wave is not part of an ocean. It's the ocean. So we're an individual and we are a plural. So Ho'oponopono works by saying forgiveness, asking for forgiveness, sending love, gratitude, and forgiveness to ourselves and for ourselves. No matter who has harmed us, no matter who we want to change a relationship with. So it works like this. You take, usually I like to have a coin on me. Imagine having a coin that represents, this is my coin here, that represents the other person. and we're going to call this other person Billy Bob. And so you want to heal your relationship with Billy Bob. So you take this coin that you imagine is Billy Bob, put it right in, like putting in through the third eye, picture it like Plinko going all the way down, boom, right into your heart. That's Billy Bob right there. That could be your mom, could be your sister, could be your partner, could be your coworker, could be your boss. You put him into your heart, and then you let him go. You don't need to think about them anymore. Now I want you to say 4 lines of forgiveness to yourself and for yourself. Not to Billy Bob, not for Billy Bob. The crazy thing is, since we are all one, he or she will feel it. And chances are they will change. Their heart will soften. 4 lines, you can say them in any order. I'm going to give them to you in the order that I like them best. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You're saying, I love you to yourself. I love myself. I love myself. This isn't the egoic, fake, false, oh, I'm so great. This is, oh my God, I am so special. I am a part of the divine. I came from the divine. I couldn't be anything other than the divine. I love you. Please forgive me. This means giving yourself the forgiveness that you need, the forgiveness that you need to move on, to feel better, to take that 400-pound monkey off of yourself. You're not asking forgiveness of Billy Bob. It has nothing to do with him at this point. I am sorry. We have all done something that we feel bad about to ourselves. So we're apologizing to ourselves for that mean and nasty thing we said to ourselves, from withholding from ourselves, from how we've treated ourselves, for not allowing ourselves to reach our greatness. I am sorry to myself. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. You are giving yourself all the gratitude in the world for being who you are, what you are, and stepping forward into your greatness. Now, I am a huge fan of beaded bracelets. I wear them almost all the time. I run with them. I like to run with them balanced. I am continuously running through prayers. If you see me on the show, I'm saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Or I send love. I send love. I send love. I'm sending out all the positive energy in the world that I can to my guests when I have them on the show. If I'm even having a conflict with somebody, I'm sending love. I'm sending love. I'm sending love. Beads are awesome for mantras. They are the most ideal thing in the world when it comes to Ho'oponopono, because you can go, I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. Or I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. And it helps give you a cue, a tactile response to keep you on track as you are going through this. How many times do you want to do Ho'oponopono? I recommend doing it. 108 is a great Buddhist number. There are 4 lines in this. So I recommend doing it 27 times, which gives you this magical number of 108. But you can do it any number of times. You can do it 111 times. You can do it 20 times. You can do it 10 times. I've had coaching clients who have transformed their whole lives by using it as their mantra throughout their entire day. Their entire day, they're going, I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. And they're feeling lighter and lighter and better still, until they're really glowing and on fire with their lives. So if you have a conflict, put him or her down into your heart, let go of them, and love yourself up and forgive yourself through Ho'oponopono, and you will see before your eyes that situation change. I want to ask Jessica if there's anything that she needs me to comment on. Usually the answer is no. Then we're going to wrap things up here. Jessica, any last thoughts, comments, otherwise?
Have you ever had trouble accessing Patreon?
Have I ever had trouble accessing
on
Patreon?
Certain browsers or?
I have had a couple people contact me and said they had trouble. So that's what I would recommend, is go to a different browser and give that a try.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't have the ultimate answer to that one. But thank you, whomever it is who's trying to get to Patreon. Thank you, thank you. And we've been posting a lot on Patreon. We are hiring a social media assistant, more or less. We're starting them in some other areas first this week. So we're going to be cranking up, giving you a lot more behind the scenes information on Patreon. Oh, do you want to show the bear? Really, 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 really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I have got to go. But if you're still here, we will reward you. We had, during a coaching session, let's see if you can see this here, a bear. Can they see that?
I think so.
A bear come to the door.
It's a baby bear.
That is our baby bear who came to our kitchen/living room door during a coaching session of mine. I was checking things out, and Jessica was saying the door was unlocked. In fact, it wasn't even fully latched. Lovebug was watching on with probably, not Lovebug, Lumiere was watching on probably with very wide open eyes. But that was just such an amazing gift of the universe. And I had to look up what the meaning of bear was. Standing strong in one's power, especially protection, speaking one's truth. And so there were some very powerful messages. I often get messages like this when I'm working with a coaching client. And this was such a profound message for him and for ourselves as we are stepping forward, as we are making great changes, as we are coming into bear energy as well. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. Come on over to patreon.com, patreon.com/InspireNation. Please help support the show. You're helping keep us going strong and giving you lots and lots of free content. Come on over to InspireNationShow.com, sign up for our mailing list to get a whole bunch of free meditations coming up, and for imeditations.com. And lastly, if you want a free strategy session on having a mentorship program with me, specifically for mentorship, specifically for coaching, then come on over to InspireNationShow.com and sign /coaching and sign up there. Love you guys so much. Wish you the most beautiful evening ahead, the most beautiful week ahead. All my love your way, above and beyond all else. Shine bright. Woohoo! Love you guys.